Good day, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Here we bring you the news, events, and stories abounding in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle activities to the doorstep of the people. Ship failure, says Peter Obi. NNPC announces new pump prices. We'll take a short break and when we return, we'll go straight into the details. Stay tuned.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats, and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women, and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors, and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late.
By Atlantic Television Network.
Front lines across the ocean.
Welcome back, and now we dive into the details for today. In the summary for today, National Emergency Management Agency has warned residents of Rivers State of looming floods within the next 4 weeks. The South-South Zonal Coordinator of NEMA, Adebi Razak, gave the warning on Sunday in Port Harcourt. According to him, NEMA had already begun preparing residents to mitigate the impact of the floods as the intensity of rainfall increases in the South-South. Particularly in Rivers State, after visiting Ahoda West, Ahoda East, Ndoni, Obiopo, Oyigbo, and Tai local government areas, as well as coastal areas that are likely to be impacted, adding that Tai has experienced flash floods and 2 internally displaced persons camps have been identified in the area. The South-South NEMA boss said a significant water rise in the region was imminent, especially as heavy rains in the north were draining into the South-South, adding that NEMA had already started stockpiling. The state coordinator also said the agency was working closely with River State Emergency Management Agency and advised the local government councils to mitigate the impact on the impending floods. Move on to Imo State, where operatives of the police command on Sunday repelled an attack on the Njaba divisional headquarters by hoodlums suspected to be affiliated with the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its armed militia. The Eastern Security Network, according to a release signed by the command's public relations officer Henry Okoye, the attackers arriving in 3 SUVs launched a violent assault on the headquarters with sporadic gunfire. Quoting them, in response, the ever-gallant operators swiftly took up defensive positions and engaged the assailants, resulting in the neutralization of 3 attackers. The remaining assailants, who sustained various gunshot injuries, fled into nearby bushes. During the operation, 2 vehicles, a Toyota Lexus 470, a Mercedes GLK, and a Toyota Venza. Okoye noted that the State Commissioner of Police, Abuki Danjuma, is currently leading an intense operation to apprehend the fleeing suspects. The police commissioner lauded the brave efforts of the operatives and assured the public that the command remains committed to enhancing the state's internal security. September 2024, gunmen killed 2 vigilante members guarding Isialambano local government area headquarters and a policeman after setting ablaze the Obowo police station in the state. Analysts have expressed disappointment following Governor Obaseki's Do or Die campaign statement. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Air, a political analyst, Ndamzi Ekulo, described the speech from the Edo State governor as undemocratic and lawless against the code of electoral ethics and conduct.
We reside in a sinner society.
Ochukwuyi Ifeanyi described Edo State as being in the eyes of the storm.
You recall that the commissioner of police has been redeployed and someone else has taken charge. You will now know that the police want to mobilize 35,000 troops or personnel as if we are at war, and we have other places where we need them. So Edo State is in the eye of the storm, and Obaseki knows this. And Obaseki, having known that he is alone, his man alone, the Nyesom Wike that Hideto helped him in ascendance to power for his second tenure, is.
This is coming as Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has described Saturday's governorship poll to elect his successor as a do-or-die affair for his party, the PDP. Speaking at the party's rally in Benin, Governor Obaseki said the election is do or die. If they do, we will die. We are open to advert placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us and watch us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also continue with us on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net. Just live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Now to the rest of the news. Former President Obasanjo on Sunday held a closed-door meeting that lasted for about an hour with former military president General Ibrahim Babangida and former head of state General. The visit was not expected, but it was learned that President Obasanjo arrived at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Airport around 4:30 p.m. on Sunday in a Gulfstream 5 aircraft and departed in the same aircraft around 7 p.m. He was said to have come to Mina from Benin City in Edo State. The details of the meeting were not known, as no journalist was aware of it until after President Obasanjo had left the state capital. No fewer than 30 heavily armed robbers have raided a guest house and a residence in Mina. Niger State macheting residents and allegedly carting away with over 50 phones and 100,000 naira, a motorcycle popularly called. Robbers entered the rooms of a civil defense operative who was lodged in the guest house. They demanded his phones, but he refused and attempted to struggle with them over his phones, insisting that he had vital contacts in it. One of the robbers used his machete and tried to cut the security agent on the head, but the officer raised his right hand to prevent the machete hitting his head, and the weapon inflicted a deep wound on his hand. The source told newsmen that when the robbers gained entry into the guest house, they began to demand the handsets of occupants of the room, which they readily handed over to them. Quoting him, "There were more than 30 in number. Some were wearing masks, while others did not cover their faces. They wore black shirts and trousers like vigilantes. They ordered everyone to lie down flat and not to look up and started searching the rooms. They picked any valuable they laid their hands on. When they entered the room of the security officer, they were issuing commands and he was telling them to take it easy. He refused to give them his phone and they wanted to take it by force. One of the men tried to hit his head with a machete, but he raised his hand to protect his head and the machete caught his hand." According to another source, while the robbers were busy in the guest house, one of them who stood at the entrance gate sighted a man watching the incident from one of the houses of the street. He said the robber trained his torchlight on the man and he quickly dashed back into the compound. Quoting him, "The man could lock the door of the house, but 5 of the robbers from the guest house kicked the door open and entered the compound. They went into all the rooms in the compound and collected over 10 phones as well as other valuables. They also collected 100,000 naira from one of the tenants. However, they did not inflict injuries on any of the tenants because they all cooperated. The robbers also collected a brand new motorcycle, popularly known as Robber, parked inside the guest house, the source said. When newsmen contacted the Niger State Police spokesperson, Wasiu Abiodun, on Sunday for his reaction, he confirmed the attack, pointing out that the robbery information reached the police late. As a result, the robbers had made their escape before the police could go after them. On Friday at about 0500 hours, a report was received at Tundunwada division that some hoodlums invaded a hotel at about 0300 hours along Eastern Bypass Road in Mina and robbed about 5 guests of the hotel and their handsets and collected the valuables. The robbers were reported to have robbed some residents around the hotel. Unfortunately, the information was not received on time as the robbers had left the scene before the police got the report. However, the incident is still under investigation with a view to arrest and prosecute the fleeing robbers, Abiodun said. Over 40 farmers died in a boat accident in Gunmi local government area in Zamfara State, the presidency has confirmed. The accident occurred on Saturday morning in Gumi town when the farmers were going to their farms. Reporters on Sunday said, Lieutenant Council residents, the flood began after the dam overflowed following heavy rainfalls, leading to the town's worst flooding in over 30 years. Minister of the FCT, Yesom Ezimombike, has called for a reduction in the cost of humongous scale of industrial activities at the quarry, including the production of gravel, stone dust and asphalt, among others, for construction of the project. The minister, who disclosed this during his visit to the Zebersid Limited Quarry, the biggest quarry located in Kubwa, Abuja, wondered why contractors still quoted exorbitant costs for construction projects in the FCT.
First of all, it is a factory in FCT, and the managing director has always invited me to come to see the factory, which is the biggest quarry in West Africa. And I've not been here before, but I'm actually glad taking the opportunity to look at the environment and see what they are doing. That shows that ordinarily the cost of construction ought not to be very expensive, particularly in the FCT. Apart from the equipment that are being imported that are used for this quarry, the raw material is available here. And I wonder why contractors will be talking about cost of aggregate as if these are imported. They are not imported, they are made here. So I really want to encourage the company. It's really amazing that we have this type of manufacturing going on here. And look at for what he said, they have over 800 persons who are working directly here. This is the same company that is trying to carry out the industrial park at Itu, and which we are going to give them all the necessary support. As at yesterday, I've sent out the letter to the Minister of Finance to focus on the tax credit to enable them carry out the other one-way carriage to make it a double carriage, which is being done by Salidi Construction Company. I would not lie to you. I'm really encouraged what I've seen. I'm really very encouraged.
The former Rivers State Governor expressed concerns over the environmental impact of the quarry, saying he has been reassured by the managing director of Zebe said that the environmental impact assessment has shown that the company has adhered to the approved standard.
There's an environmental impact assessment, which is said they are up to standard, they have no problems. I think it's mind-boggling and very, very impressive. It's slow as regards to cost of rent houses. I mean, it's the market forces. You are aware that there are a lot of everything has actually increased in terms of cost. If you are saying that the house has been built for years, the man who built it, you don't do that, he will not make profit at the end of the day. If you build a house for maybe you have to build to build an estate, you don't expect that you make by that 2 billion in 10 years time. Probably even in 10 years time he has gotten his money. You now want to start making a profit. I don't agree with people who are always complaining about rent increase. There are all increases in everything today. So that should not be so good that you want us to make a law to say that a 2-bedroom flat should not be more than 50,000 naira, for example, or 100,000 naira. I don't think you're encouraging the investors. That's not our major problem now.
Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, has extolled the efforts of the immediate past FCT Commissioner of Police, Benedict Igwe, who was recently promoted to the position of Assistant Inspector General of Zone, and former Director, Department of State Security FCT Command, Assistant Director General Ado Mwazu, for their effective services to the FCT in combating security challenges. Wike comments the security experts during the send-forth reception in Abuja, adding that their promotion is a recognition of their hard work and commitment to service to the nation.
Give God the glory that people who worked with us have today been promoted because of their hard work, because of their commitment to service to FCT and the nation in general. I've always said that people who are committed, people who make sacrifice, that I don't believe it's only when you die, people will honor you, people will reward you. While you are alive and you have worked, you should be remembered. And that is why we said, these two gentlemen who have worked with us, to make all of us sleep well with our 2 eyes closed. It's important. We honor them, we thank them for their services. I'm not one of those who like to praise people. But when you see the reality, that somebody is committed to his work, that somebody is willing to service his nation for keeping him alive, to be able to be promoted to AIG, and to come here today with his family for this recognition. The Assistant Director was very quiet, but very committed. I thank God, and I thank the new DG of the State Security Services for seeing him, finding him worthy to be promoted and for him to work at the national level. 2 of them have not left FCT. The moment you do well, people will recognize you. People will thank you. Everything must not be money. This recognition, money cannot buy it. And this is what everybody will pray for, that their services are required. I want to thank other security agencies, the Major General that's there, the Brigades of Guard, or the Air Force, all of you, that this work wouldn't have been easy, but for your cooperative, collaborative efforts in making sure that FCT is safe.
Earlier, AIG Benedict Igwe thanked the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, for the passion in ensuring the protection of lives and properties.
As he gave the instruction, he supported us without fear or favor. He supported us with the work. And that is why, when my people called me and said, why are you always in the bush, on patrol, in the night? I said, because the minister is equally on patrol in the night. The minister, you see, is equally on patrol in the night. You may not understand. That's the truth. For those who know him, sometimes we crisscross each other. And when you are working with such a person, you should know, I'm a Christian. If you go to Psalm 121, verse 4, the Bible told me that he who keepeth Israel neither sleeps nor slumber. So, I regard Abuja as my Israel, because the minister equally regarded Abuja as his Israel. Because he who keepeth Abuja will neither sleep nor slumber. If you sleep, the kidnappers will enter. If you slumber, before you wake up, the bandits will take over. That is Abuja for you. So we neither sleep nor slumber. Up to the day that I'm standing here, including himself, me and the Ado, and the Commander Gas Brigade, and our other brothers in the Security Council, we agreed to work jointly together. I want to inform Abuja residents. I am still around. The criminals yesterday or day before yesterday, where some people were interviewing me. I am not moving anywhere. I'm around. And now that I have more powers, I don't know where you will run to. Now that I have more powers to do something, if you know where you want to pack and go, you better start now, because I am now an AIG. So I have more power now. I have more power now to safeguard Abuja, to supervise what is happening in Abuja. So I want to assure the residents and people of FCT that you are in safe hand with the Minister of FCT. As far as he's concerned, he will still give us support, and the FCT will be safe.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has provided free medical services for over 3,000 residents in the Buhari area of the FCT as part of the Renewed Hope Medical Mission. The scope of the medical service provided includes health promotion, antenatal care, immunization services, free HIV screening, screening for diabetes, hypertension, and sickle cell diseases, as well as free dental health services, nutrition assessments, distribution of cooking gas and fertilizers, amongst others. Flagging off of the free medical outreach in the Buhari Area Council, the FCT Minister of State, Dr. Maria Mahmood, stressed that the FCT administration was fully committed to meeting not only the people's health needs, but also the needs of the residents of the FCT, the best health services. The minister used the occasion to speak on the importance of ANC attendance, exclusive breastfeeding, and immunization in prevention of child diseases such as polio, tuberculosis, pneumonia, pertussis, as well as diphtheria, measles, and importance of HIV screening, diabetes, and hypertension, amongst others. Do not forget you're watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water, and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
A warm welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Former Labour Party presidential candidate and 2023 general election candidate Peter Obi has decried the state of emergency in Nigeria's democracy, saying that it has experienced untold setbacks when it was burdened by leadership failure. In a post made via his official X handle, Obi said the death in the nation's democracy has brought about uncontrolled systemic corruption, high level of insecurity, lack of freedom of speech, increasing poverty, and unprecedented levels of hunger and hardship. He stated this on the commemoration of International Democracy Day, stressing that the day reminds Nigeria the need to uphold the tenets of democracy. The former Anambra State governor enjoined political leaders to pause and examine the country's democratic journey and strive to build the nation on the solid rock of true democracy, where every Nigerian is given a voice and a fair hearing. He said this irrespective of tribe, religion, or political affiliation. Quoting him, democracy in Nigeria has continued to suffer untold setbacks, heavily burdened by leadership failure, which has brought about uncontrolled systemic corruption, high levels of insecurity, lack of freedom of speech, increasing poverty, and unprecedented levels of hunger and hardship. He continued saying, these problems have not only remained unsolved, but are growing geometrically. The democratic ideals of the nation have sadly continued to erode with time, and today we can be classified as a captured state where the citizens have continued to suffer untold hardship, deprivation, and insecurity, while the political leadership feasts on state resources. In every measurement of true democracy, we have continued to rank low and perform badly, signaling a critical deficiency in our democratic system, he tweeted via his X handle. Federal government has commenced the distribution of compressed natural gas, CNG, conversion kits nationwide to fast-track the change of petrol and diesel-powered vehicles to use CNG. The program director of the Presidential CNG Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, disclosed this during an inspection tour and distribution of the kits to 6 CNG conversion centers in Abuja. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that 6 conversion centers inspected by the team are NIPCO Oil and Gas Station, Airports Road, Kia Motors at Utako, Mijo Gas Auto in Jahi, ABD CNG in Kubwa, Bovas Filling Station in Wuse Zone 5, and C&L Mart Energy locations at Lokogba. Mr. Oluwagbemi said President Bola Tinubu CNG initiative would provide Nigerians with cheaper and cleaner vehicle fueling alternatives. He said, the president has assured that we are making 1 million conversion kits available for free for the commercial sector or at reasonable discounts for the private vehicles. This is to enable transportation fares to be moderated across the country over the next couple of years. Of course, it is technically and logistically tasking to get the kits across to Nigerians because the kits must be installed in those vehicles and they have to be done in a way that is safe and reliable, he said. The coordinator said the federal government had signed up with over 75 conversion partners officially in 8 states, including Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Edo, Delta, Kogi, FCT, and Kaduna. Quoting him, these 8 states are the ones where the conversion incentive programs has kicked off. In the next 6 to 8 weeks, we'll be having additional 9 states. The states to be included are Kwara, Ekiti, Akwa Ibom, Rivers State, Abia, Enugu, Kano, and Niger State. These states will be joining the category of states where we have activated the program, he said. Mr. Oluwagbemi said they were working with governors and the private sector to ensure the conversion kits were made available to beneficiaries. He said, of course, these kits are not manufactured in Nigeria at the moment. We are also enabling local manufacturers with the capacity to ensure that we get them done locally. We need to make sure that we move the nation's economy in the right direction, away from our addiction to petrol and diesel, which truly is making our nation's economy bankrupt, he said. For her part, the coordinator of business development and strategy of the initiative, Omolara Obileye, said the program would reduce dependence on petrol. She reiterated that while the commercial transporters would have 100% conversion free, private cars are expected to pay a fraction of the cost of the conversion. However, the cost depends on the vehicle size because there are different types of vehicles and there is a need to understand exactly what we need to configure in the system. We have over 12 conversion centers in the FCT. We will continue to increase the number and update the public, she said. The representatives of the management of conversion centers commended the federal government for the initiative and assured that it will go a long way in ameliorating sufferings of Nigerians. NNPC Limited has announced estimated petrol pump prices across all states. Nigerians should expect in Lagos, residents will now pay 920 naira per litre, while some other states, a litre of petrol will go as high as 1,056 naira. NNPC explains that the new petrol prices are based on figures obtained from the Dangote refinery and not set by the federal government, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The NNPC has announced a significant adjustment in pump prices across all states after completing the loading of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, from the Dangote refinery. NNPC stated it paid 898 naira per litre for the 16 million litres of petrol purchased from Dangote refinery on Sunday, September 15th, in a statement signed by Olufemi Sone, Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the NNPC. It was revealed that the cheapest estimated price will be 920 naira per litre, which will be sold in Lagos. NNPC explained that the new prices for September are based on figures obtained from the Dangote refinery and not set by federal government. The statement reads, the NNPC has released estimated prices of PMS, also known as petrol, obtained from Dangote refinery in its retail stations across the country. The NNPC also wishes to state that in line with the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, PMS prices are not set by the federal government but negotiated directly between parties on an arm's length. The NNPC can confirm that it is paying Dangote refinery in United States dollars for September 2024 offtake, as Naira transactions will only commence on October 1st, 2024. The NNPC Limited assures that if the quoted pricing is disputed, it will be grateful for any discount from the Dangote refinery, which will be passed on 100% to the general public. Here is a breakdown of the pricing. In Borno State, it will be 1,019 naira per litre. In Sokoto, it will be 999 naira per litre. Kano State would be sold for the sum of 999 naira, which is for PMS. Kaduna will continue with 999 naira. The Federal Capital Territory would be 992 naira per litre, and Rivers State would be 980 naira 0.22 kobo per litre. Oyo State will be 960 naira per litre. Lagos will be 950 naira per litre. NNPC unveils 6 new locations for CNG in other news. The NNPC has called on Nigerians to consider switching to compressed natural gas. The NNPC ramped up efforts to expand the availability of CNG at its filling stations nationwide amidst rising petrol prices. The company said CNG stations are now available in Abuja at Gadua, Wuse, Gudu, Dede, Usafa, and Wagalada. The NNPC has insisted that it paid 898 per litre for the purchase of petrol from the Dangote refinery. The corporate communications officer in NNPCL Limited stated this while responding to the statement from the refinery. Anthony Chejina, Group Chief Branding and Communications Office of Dangote, had refuted the claim earlier of the NNPC that it bought fuel from Dangote at 899 naira per litre. 898 naira per litre, sorry. The PMS, otherwise known as petrol, Soneye said, we successfully loaded PMS at the Dangote refinery today. The claim that we purchased it at 760 naira per litre is incorrect. For this initial loading, the price from the refinery was 898 naira per litre. He also told our correspondent that as of the time of the filing of this report, over 70 trucks had been loaded. The oil firm had moved about 300 trucks to the 650,000 capacity refinery in Lagos on Saturday. The loading commenced on Sunday, but in his statement, Dangote Refinery accused NNPCL of misleading the public, asking Nigerians to await a formal announcement on the pricing by the Technical Subcommittee on Naira-based crude sales to local refineries, appointed by President Bola Tinubu. In a move suspected of further countering NNPCL's narrative, Dangote Refinery added that the oil firm paid in dollars. However, in its response, NNPCL admitted paying in dollars, but emphasized that the Naira sale will commence on October 1st, 2024. The NNPCL also dismissed the claim of Dangote Refinery that sub-technical committee appointed by the president would announce PMS price at the refinery. The NNPC Limited has released estimated prices of premium motor spirits, also known as petrol, obtained from the Dangote Refinery. In its retail stations across the country, the NNPC Limited wishes to state that in line with the provisions of the Petrol Industry Act, PIA, PMS prices are not set by the government but negotiated directly between parties on an arm's length. The NNPC Limited can confirm that it is paying Dangote Refinery in USD for September 2024, as Naira payments will continue later in October. In the spirit of unity and celebration, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State extended heartfelt greetings to the Muslim community in commemoration of the Eid el-Maulud, the birthday of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Said this significant occasion serves as a reminder of the values of love, compassion, and tolerance that are essential for harmonious living in a country as diverse as Nigeria. The governor expressed hope that this celebration will inspire all citizens to embrace the principles of peace and understanding, fostering a culture of respect amongst various religious groups in the state. He emphasized that the strength of Ogun State lies in its diversity, urging citizens to come together to promote a peaceful coexistence that transcends religious boundaries. Quoting him, "As we celebrate Eid el-Maulud, let us reflect on the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, which emphasizes kindness, charity, and respect for one another. We must continue to build bridges of understanding and friendship amongst our different faiths, ensuring that Ogun State remains a beacon of peace and unity," the governor stated. Governor Abiodun also called on all religious leaders to play a vital role in promoting peaceful dialogue and understanding within their communities. He noted that the teachings of love and tolerance should guide the actions of all citizens, contributing to a more harmonious society. Abiodun also urged the Muslim faithful to continue praying for the success of his administration and that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, adding that concerted efforts are being made to make Nigeria a better place for all. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the lovely city of Port Harcourt. I am King David Obasi, thanking you so far for staying with us. Continue with us on all our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching.